name is Josh Jenkins. This is my FTT 211 week 1. This is the completion lab for the muzzleloader. Today is January 17th, 2024.
All right, now the next thing we're gonna do is, since we've got this taken apart, is we're gonna clean it down with some alcohol. I'm gonna use some, I'm gonna use what I got on hand here. Couldn't find any mineral spirits, don't know why. Got to go back to Ace, see if I can find some more, but we're gonna use some of this alcohol. This it doesn't have too much in there in the way of like chemicals outside of alcohol. I mean, I don't know. So anyway, this step right here, what I'm doing right now is to get all the dust off of it by using that alcohol. A little bit more on there. So I got most of the dust and dirt off. I'm gonna give it a couple more things. The next step, I'm gonna hang this up and I'm gonna start staining. All right, for this next step, what we're gonna do is I've got it hung up. I've got a wire up on my ceiling here. I've hung it up. What I've done is I've taken a little eyelet right here so I could put it up to here so I can hang it up, because I want to hang it through this right here, this hole right here, because I've seen where occasionally it'll break, and it just seems like it's a better idea because, again, it's a hole back here. It's covered by that plate. No one's going to see it. I've seen a couple other students at SDI do this little trick as well, so I'm going to do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the gunstock 231 that we have, shake it up, and we're just going to start coating it. Honestly, that's just what this is going to be. I'm going to coat it, come back with some very light sandpaper. We're going to let it sit for about an hour, come back, or actually, try it again. I'm going to stain it, let it sit for 15 minutes, wipe off the excess, let it dry for an hour, light sand it with some steel wool, repeat that process 2 or 3 times. The pistol I showed you a few minutes ago, that one, that's what I did in that process, and that turned out pretty good because I think it's the same wood, but we're going to find out. So I'm just going to go get started. You're going to see that. Not going to do much talking, so we'll go from there. It's also should note that I've got cross fans coming through here right now. My windows are open, so I've got a lot of ventilation in here. Hey Siri, Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
All right, so now I've got that set. I've got a timer going. Stop spinning, stop spinning. Now, ballerina, you're a gun. So I'm gonna let that sit for about 15 minutes. Come back, I'm gonna wipe the excess off, and then let it dry for about an hour, and we'll go again. All right, now that I've let that sit and dry for the first one, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna wipe it off a little bit. All right, so we're gonna let that sit for, I don't know, a couple hours maybe. Come back and I'll hit it again with some more stain, and again, we're gonna do this 2 or 3 times today, so this will be the second one. So we'll just keep doing that, and yeah, keep going from there. All right, so it's been about an hour and some change at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to hit it again, same thing, hit it all the way up and down, getting in the spots and everything, and then I'm going to let it sit for 15 minutes, wipe it down, sand it, let it sit again, repeat. That's where we're at. Got it pretty good. I'll let it sit for, like I said, 15 minutes, come back, wipe it all down, call it a day, and then again, the process. Okay, it's been about another 15 minutes. Do it again. Gonna go ahead and just lightly get this off. So what I also noticed was in these places right here, like where the flint or the lock goes in, some stuff is kind of coagulated in there. So I'm just gonna take my brass punch here. I'm just gonna slowly get that out. See where I pen hold right there. So I'm just gonna do that in a couple of spots around here. You know, make sure we get it all wiped off, because again, that's the key here. We don't want it to just pool on it. We want it to be as nice as we can. We want it to look pretty. Like I said, I had some pretty good results with the small one that I did. So I mean, using some of the techniques, me to practice some of those. I'm going to use them here as well. So trigger guard goes, it's kind of back there too, so I'm just getting all that out too. So yeah, there we go. So now I'm gonna let it dry for another hour or so. Then I'm gonna take some more of that triple aught steel and we're gonna hit it again. I'm gonna let this dry for several hours. I'm gonna hit it with that sand. I'm gonna hit it with the sanding, some very fine like 220 sanding. I'm gonna hit it with that, and then I'm gonna paint or stain it one last time after about 4 or 5 hours. Like that. So this time I'm gonna let it stand for, as it says, 4 hours. Sand it, then put a final coat on it. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is we're going to work on polishing of the brass. Witten's got some brass, so I'm going to work on polishing that brass. I've got a buffing wheel over there too, so we're going to polish it up real good with that, make it look very pretty, and maybe do some wet sanding as well. So we'll do that. We'll be right back. All right, so the next thing we're going to do while we're waiting for that to dry is we're going to polish up some of this brass. So we're going to do that real quick. To do that, we're going to use some Brazos, a rag, and I might, just depending on how well this looks, might use the buffing wheel too. So let's get this screw out of here. But I do want to start off with some wet sanding of this brass first. So I'm going to use some 600 grit, where I put that, hang on. Use this 600 grit sandpaper and we'll wet sand, and then once I get done with that I'm going to use some Brazos on that. So go ahead and get started on that, and if I need to stop I will. If not, we'll just we'll keep going from there. All right, so I'm just going to keep at this for a little bit, and we're going to get looking good, and then we'll just start hitting it with the Brazos. So I'm going to take a clean rag, as clean as I can get it. I'm going to put some of this on a microfiber rag. Squirt a little bit on there. And then we're just going to polish the devil out of it. Because of the nature of this class, I'm also going to go grab my buffing wheel here as well. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do some polishing on this. So I'm going to put a little bit more Brazos on this. I'm going to rub it in there, like so. We're going to turn this wheel on.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
And we're going to start polishing. All right, so I've got that back plate, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the, where's the nose cap? Where's my nose cap? Technical difficulties. There it is. I'm going to do my nose cap now. May need to hit that with some sandpaper real quick, so let me get that cleaned up. Let's wet sand that first. All right, that's much better. So we're going to set that aside, and we're going to keep going. All right, so I've got that cleaned up now as well. So that is all my pieces for brass. So what we're gonna do is, I've got a few more hours. It's obviously dark now, but what I'm gonna do is I've got to wait for my stock to finish. Once that's done, we will go back to it. So let's do a fun little transition to tomorrow. So here we go. All right, we are back. Oops, let's try this. All right, we are back. Now what we're gonna do is, it's been 24 hours since I put the last coat on. Not 24 hours since I did the brass and everything. It's been 24 hours since I've done it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with, you know, kind of a very light, very light double aught, triple aught steel wool here. And we're just going to hit it real light. All right, set that aside. Here. Our final coat. So this will be 3 coats. So that was our final sanding. That was our final sanding with that, and this is our final coat. And then what we'll do is we'll do a few coats of True Oil. Thing back over here, so I've got a little piece of paper down here. All right, we're gonna let that dry for, it says I should wait 4 hours before putting the top coat on, so I'm gonna let this dry most of the day, come back, and then, actually in 15 minutes I'm gonna wipe it off again like I did before, and then let it dry for most of the day, come back, and we're gonna start putting our True Oil on. So we're going to do that, but we'll go ahead and let that dry and we'll come right back. All right, so this has been drying off literally all day. I've kept it nice and warm in here today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to card this last one off in preparation for doing some True Oil. So I'm going to take some triple aught steel and I'm just going to, like I said, just go through here and just actually take off the hook. And we're just gonna go ahead and just pull this down, sand it down as best we can. Like I said, it has been warm in here all day, so. Now, what we're gonna do is get this cap off. There we go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this True Oil that we got from the school. And we're gonna use our fingers, and we're gonna do a light coat over everything. Let it sit for a couple hours, come back, do a card of it, do another light coat, card it, maybe do a third one, just depends. Again, I really like the way this looks right now. And then once we're done with that, then we'll hit it with some candle wax. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit for 2 hours and we'll come back to it, check on it, maybe card it off a little bit with some steel wool or sand it. I keep saying carding, but I definitely mean sanding, which carding and sanding are maybe the same. I don't know, I'm gonna look it up and I'll tell you somewhere in here if it's the same. But I'm gonna let this sit for 2 hours and we'll come back to it. All right, it's about two and a half hours later. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of steel wool, and then I'm going to hit it with some more True Oil. So this is going to be the second application. All right, I put my piece of paper back here. That was the second of 3. So we're gonna let this dry for a couple hours and we'll come back. All right, so it's a little late. So this is gonna be my final sanding, carding, if you will, of this. And then I'm gonna put one more layer of the True on it. I'm gonna let it set for tonight. Come back, check it in the morning, and probably do some wax. But that's what we got for tonight. And we'll go from there. One of the things I did want to mention is the reason I'm not using gloves for this is because this stuff sticks everywhere, and trying to use either a paper towel or like gloves, it just doesn't work real well. So I've been using bare hands. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit it with some of this steel wool again, and we are going to hit it one more time with that. So let's go ahead and go for it. Take my ring off first. One of the best ways I've found to get this crap off my hands after you're done is baking soda and alcohol, like with swabs and whatnot, or not alcohol swabs, like the pump antiseptic. You know, the hand sanitizer, yeah, that we all used during the pandemic, that's what I found. But that and that. And that should about do it for tonight. I don't know if you noticed, each time I've done this, it's required less and less and less. But that's this last one, it required less to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry for the rest of the night. And we will be back first thing in the morning to take a look at this, make sure everything's good. And we're going to put some wax on it, and we'll be good to go. See you in the morning. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wax this down and seal it in. So give me 1 second. Got some cinnamon smelling wax from a candle, so I want to show where I haven't done it yet, and I have done it up here. Just going to go ahead and wax the whole thing straight up. It smells faintly of cinnamon, like I said, but haven't found any real good evidence one way or the other on whether this candle wax just works, and this is what I have on hand right now. So, man, so nervous about this. Anyway, clean rag. It's a clean rag. Okay. So let's wipe this off now, or rub it in is what they said. All right, I stand corrected. I thought I was ruining it there for a second putting that on there, but actually, hold on, let's feel how that feels. Doesn't feel bad. Doesn't feel sticky or anything either. All right, well, that's putting this cinnamon wax over top of the 3 coats of True Oil from last night. Okay, so that was a fun couple of. Let's be honest, it was a fun week of work getting all this done, because this took a few days to get this done. So I want to show you the final product. This has 3 coats of 3 coats of stain on it, allowed to dry in between, and then carded or sanded with a triple-aught steel. I checked that out finally. I know I'm trying to figure out what I was doing, but I actually figured out what it was. It's triple-aught steel. And then once that was done, 3 coats of True Oil, again, triple-aught steel in between all that, and then used some cinnamon candle wax that my wife let me have to seal all this in real quick. Again, really couldn't find the evidence one way or another on that, but, did that, and it didn't seem to affect anything, and it really just sealed everything in and made this just really pop and shine, and faint smell of cinnamon now. So, but yeah, that was a fun week. I look forward to the next few weeks, getting everything, the barrel done, and just really getting this going. So thanks for watching.